once a second for 8 hours a day, it'd take 2 years to look at the entire DNA strand. It's that long. So, it's full of holes. Now that's where our geneticists take over. Thinking machine supercomputers and gene sequencers break down the strand in minutes. And virtual reality displays show our geneticists the gaps in the DNA sequence. We use the complete DNA of a frog to fill in the holes and complete the code. And now we can make a baby dinosaur.
It's a dinosaur egg. The dinosaurs are breeding.
But my grandpa said all dinosaurs were girls.
Amphibian DNA.
The Velociraptors of Jurassic Park are truly the main showcase species of the entire franchise, never appearing in the fossil record, but making its way into every single film entry, TV show, and video game of this beloved franchise. This species is truly dynamic and the most iconic part of the entire franchise. However, I recently had a thought. What if the first movie is far more clever than we even think? What if, as Dr. Alan Grant mentioned, our most
Clever girl
is actually male? Before we get too deep into this theory, let's cover the backstory of the Velociraptors of Jurassic Park. No, not the real-life history, we've already done a video on that, but what happened before the events of the movie? What was Muldoon talking about with the inspection team when they visited the hastily prepared holding pen that was far too small for a pride of raptors, let alone an adult pride of raptors?
They should all be destroyed.
Robert Muldoon, my game warden from Kenya. Bit of an alarmist, I'm afraid, but knows more about raptors than anyone.
Do they show intelligence? What's the brain cavity?
They show extreme intelligence, even problem-solving intelligence, especially the big one. We bred 8 originally, but when she came in, she took over the pride and killed all the 2 of the others. That one, when she looks at you, you can see she's working things out. That's why we have to feed them like this. She had them all attacking the fences when the feeders came.
The fences are electrified, though, right?
That's right, but they never attacked the same place twice. They were testing the fences for weaknesses systematically. They remember.
As we just heard from Muldoon, when InGen introduced the big one into the Pride of 7, she killed all but 2 of the others in a show of force and dominance. After this, her 2 subordinates were ordered to attack the fences when feeders came. She was assessing the fences for weaknesses. The DVD menu discusses how the species' intelligence is on the same level as chimps. In Jurassic Park, velociraptors show signs of problem-solving with intelligence on the order of chimpanzees. Like chimps, they have agile hands that enable them to open doors and manipulate objects. They are instinctive hunters, never passing up prey and even killing when they are not hungry. So, with all that out of the way, let's lay out the potential evidence that we have here. How could the big one possibly be a male? Let's get into it. Dr. Grant mentions that some species of frogs have something involved that causes them to change their sex from male to female in a single-sex environment.
Putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay!
We know that the eggs that Dr. Alan Grant and the kids find are raptor eggs. We just don't know when or which of the pride became male to fertilize the eggs. We know that they were fertilized because of the baby raptor tracks leading from the nest. This is called protogeny.
You know what this is? It's a dinosaur egg. The dinosaurs are breeding.
But my grandpa said all dinosaurs were girls.
Amphibian DNA.
What's that?
Well, on the tour, the film said they used frog DNA to fill in the gene sequence gaps. They mutated the dinosaur genetic code and blended it with that of frogs. Now, some West African frogs have been known to spontaneously change sex from male to female in a single-sex environment. Malcolm was right. Look. I found a way.
Protogeny is a form of sequential hermaphroditism in which an animal changes sex from female to male. Protogynous animals are born female, but at some point in their life cycle, an internal or external trigger causes them to become male. The process differs between species, but has been documented in several types of arthropods, including isopods and crustaceans, some species of amphibians, some echinoderms, and a large number of fish. We know that the frogs used for the Velociraptor, specifically version 2, which were the only viable versions, were the Hyperoleus viridiflavius, or the Arusha reed frog. This is a species of African reed frog, one of the kinds that Dr. Grant was just mentioning. In 1989, it was reported in a scientific journal that this species had been observed being capable of protogeny. Although this was only happened once in captivity and is generally believed to not happen in the wild naturally. The big one shows other potential signs of having undergone this process as well. The concept of fighting for dominance and becoming dominant, the fact that they have its two subordinates attack Mr. Arnold and Muldoon first before it finishes off its prey. This is a behavior commonly seen in lions, where the females attack the prey subject first, but the lone male comes in and is first to eat the quarry. So, my theory I am proposing to you, the beloved Jurassic community, is that when the big one was originally bred, she was female. We have no doubts about that part. At some point after a pride of 8 raptors were established in the Velociraptor paddock, the big one was introduced into the paddock. Upon its integration into the pride, something switched in its genetics and the protogynous effects took hold, causing her to spontaneously change from female to male over an indeterminate period of time. After this process had been finished, this individual grew larger into the big one that Muldoon describes and challenged the initial pride leader, a smaller female, for dominance, and in the process killed at least 6, becoming the new alpha of the pride. This led to the big one successfully mating at least once, resulting in at least 8 eggs, with a collectible card suggesting 5 viable ones. With the renewed importance of securing its territory for a future generation, it had its subordinates attack the perimeter fences when the feeders would come to feed the diminished in size pride. This would ultimately lead to Hammond ordering the 3 rounded up and placed into a hastily constructed holding pen until he knew what to do with them, unknowingly leaving the eggs or potential hatchlings in the paddock. Hammond also gave the order to replace the raptor paddock with 4 Herrerasaurs, an older species hailing from the Triassic that follows generally the same body plan as the raptors, as well as a replacement pride of raptors from a new version 3 variation. this time with round pupils instead of slit-shaped ones. Well, there you go, folks. What do you think of the idea of the big one being a male raptor? I'm personally not 100% sure, and I know that I haven't fully convinced the other team members of the Amber Mine on this little theory of mine. It has a few holes in it, of course, but it's just a fun thought experiment I was working through about a month ago. I'd like to know your thoughts on it, so please leave your thoughts down below. Spooktober has still just begun, and I can't wait to share what all we have planned for you. October 15th begins the full celebration. See you then.